How many US Army soldiers would it take to bring down one Warhammer 40k Space Marine? Hey, Marcus here, Sword and Sci-Fi guy. Now for my background on both. For the US military side, I'm going to be drawing on some of my own experiences with the Air Force, which isn't the US Army, but I worked security, so have some fireteam and squad experience. Also, this graphic brought to you by Graphica Mechanica on Instagram, as well as reading through probably too many US military field manuals recently. On the 40k side, I have years of watching different lore videos, reading a few books, playing some of the games, so I have some experience with it, enough to realize, and some people probably won't like this, but a lot of the narrators are a bit unreliable. That's why you get contrast between an average Space Marine being a walking tank demigod of battle, but yet they're often taken down by lower-ranking demons, and chapters are always seeking to recoup battle losses. So Space Marines are really good, but they're not infallible. That said, let's get into it. Could one soldier take down a Space Marine? They're armed with an M4, which would be pretty much useless. Now, autoguns have taken down Space Marines with lucky shots to the visor or joints, but given how everything is always taken up to 11 in 40k, I don't think 5.56 qualifies as an autogun. So one soldier would be useless. Up that to a fire team of 4 soldiers, and you bring some different weapons to the party. A fire team will have one underbarrel grenade launcher, either an M203 or an M320, depending on how well they're equipped. And amongst the fire team, they will either have an M249 saw, which fires 5.56, so I think would be next to useless again, or an AT4 rocket launcher or recoilless rifle, depending on how you want to classify it. This could definitely deal some damage to a Space Marine, especially if it hit in the upper torso or head. However, given that they only have one shot, I don't think they're really likely to hit. Up next would be a squad, which is 3 fire teams put together and would usually have a squad leader commanding them. This has 3 grenade launchers, which might be a decent distraction, but not much more. A bunch of M4s and saws, which 5.56, so probably useless. But a squad does bring 2 AT4s to the party. And given that that's 2 shots, I think that they're still below 1% odds. So what about 3 squads, which is most of a platoon? All that 5.56 coming at them would likely become an annoyance. And 9 grenade launchers would definitely be distracting. And I think all that might potentially be enough to relatively consistently get a hit with one of the 6 AT4s. Though unless that is a direct hit to the chest or head, they won't drop the Marine. However, they could potentially blow off an arm, and that would open up a hole, and if they were smart, they could start firing in there. But with all that, I wouldn't really give them more than a 1 to 5% chance. However, a full platoon isn't just 3 squads. They have a weapon squad join them. And this is where the bigger guns start to come out. This weapon squad has 2 M240s, which are a 7.62 machine gun. I think that these would be strong enough to qualify as autoguns, so we might actually see some damage. And they have a high enough rate of fire to potentially score a lucky shot in the visor or joints, even against a very fast Space Marine. But the weapon squad also brings out 2 infrared-guided anti-tank FGM-148 Javelin rocket launchers. These have some guided capacity and can hit moving tanks, and they can also shoot up in an arc in order to fall down on a target and hit where the armor is weakest on tanks. If it were just one shot coming down from there, I think that a Space Marine could see that and dodge out of the way. And since that wouldn't be a direct hit, it wouldn't have as much armor defeating capability. However, given the significant distraction that over 30 M4s, 9 grenade launchers, 6 AT4s, and 2 javelins would provide, I think there's a decent enough chance that some of those will hit and bring down the Space Marine. But the Space Marine would inflict heavy casualties with their bolter and chain sword. So I personally believe that it would take a full platoon to bring down an Adeptus Astartes. Given how it's commonly said that one Space Marine is worth about 20 Imperial Guard soldiers, and the Imperial Guard generally has better armor and weapons than our modern soldiers, I think it makes sense that double that number of about 36 US Army soldiers with standard squad weapons, I think it makes sense that they could take on a Space Marine. However, the military could outfit a smaller unit with better weapons in order to focus more on taking down Space Marines. However, in closer quarters, those odds would get lower and lower. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think that it would take more or less US Army soldiers to bring down a Space Marine?